Hey, this is Russ. I'm back out on the road again. So what am I riding? You tell me. Yeah, I'm riding a new bike, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. How you like that? I'm going to show you a little bit what I do before I actually do these reviews. I usually take the bikes out for a test ride, just to see what I think about it in the first place. Then I formulate what I kind of think about it. Then I think about what I'm going to say in the reviews. Then we make the review. But a lot of the times when I've done this, I've ridden on my own, haven't recorded it. I figured, hey, I can't let the people see what it is before we actually reveal the bike. Then I kind of thought about it and I said, you know what? You guys don't know what I'm riding. If I don't tell you what I'm riding, how could you tell? I mean, maybe at best you see the handlebars, maybe you see the color of the bike, something like that. That's about all you really see. Okay, maybe you see the front wheel as well. Display screen. But this particular bike doesn't tell you the brand on the display screen. So how would you really know? So I figured, if I'm going to be out riding anyway and not recording something, I might as well be out riding and doing a little video about other topics. Now, one thing you may notice, I don't have a side view mirror on here yet. This is straight out of the box, plus some accessories that was given to me. But I didn't put my own stuff on there. I don't even have the thumb throttle on here. I just have the half twist throttle on it at this point. So yeah, that's kind of stock. So I won't give you my impressions of the bike. We'll leave that for the actual review. But yeah, I have a hard time sometimes with these half twist throttles. I'm used to having the thumb throttle there. I'm going to have to put that on for future rides before I actually do the review. So, what are we going to talk about today? Oh, I have a good topic for you. Stops. I'm sure you guys are sick and tired of hearing about stops, but I have a good one for you today about stops. So I'm going to talk about it again. So anyway, the other day I was pre-riding one of the review bikes. Yeah, it was the big, heavy 120-pound review bike. Yeah. So if you've been watching the other videos, you understand why it's 120 pounds. Yeah, it's got 3 batteries on there, plus a whole bunch of other things that I put on there as well. The bike itself is not that heavy, but I kind of turned it into a really heavy bike because of all the stuff I put on it. So anyways, I was riding around and I saw one of our local police officers. Yeah, he was sitting there on his motorcycle. Yeah, he had one of the new electric motorcycles. I had to go take a look at it. So I rode up to him. He was doing his thing, kind of watching traffic. And I introduced myself. He reciprocated and told me his name. I told him my name. Told him I did a YouTube channel. That I was out riding a lot. And I wondered if he had actually seen me. And I don't know whether he said he did or he didn't, but he was interested, on how this whole thing with YouTube works and how I got all these bikes and everything. So I told him, you'll probably see me around because I'm usually on the streets. You'll eventually run into me. So as we're discussing things and, I told him I was in law enforcement as a support person. I was an evidence technician, collected crime scene evidence, worked in the crime lab, blah, 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 all that stuff. And so we talked a little bit about law enforcement. And so I asked him, I said, okay, look, here's what's going on in my YouTube channel. I said, people have been all over me about not stopping at stop signs. So he kind of looked at me. I said, would you give me a ticket? So I explained to him how I basically deal with it. I told him that I usually ride up to a stop sign. I'll slow down. I might only be going 6 miles an hour or whatever. I look around. If there's nobody on the left, nobody on the right, nobody in the front, nobody in the back, I just go through it. Would you give me a ticket? We had a good chuckle over that. He said he can't speak for all officers. Of course, you can't, because there's a lot of discretion as to whether a police officer will ticket you, give you a warning, arrest you. It's all up to the individual, right? So he said, I can't speak for everybody. I said, all right, you as a motorcycle police officer. By the way, his motorcycle is really cool. It's electric. So I says, you as a police officer on a motorcycle, you see me, I ride up, you see that I'm looking around, I slow down, but I don't actually stop. Would you give me a ticket? And his answer was, probably not. And then eventually, no, I wouldn't. And the reason he said was because he says, I look for intent. He says, I look to see if the person riding the bike has the intention to make sure he's safe and that nobody else around him is going to be unsafe because of his action. He made the slowdown, he made the effort. I'm not doing anything. So there you go. Straight out of law enforcement in our area. Now, that doesn't mean another cop won't give you a ticket, okay? But for him, he felt it's more important to be safe than not. So we discussed the issue of, well, why would it be unsafe if I stopped? And so he kind of related it back to, oh, this is like new asphalt. Yeah, we're not going over this. New asphalt, as you might know, kind of sticky. I don't want stickiness all over this new wheel. I got to bring it back in the house. Let's turn around. Okay, what was I saying? He said that he looked at intent. He says, what constitutes being unsafe? He says, if he were to slow down on his own motorcycle and had to stop at every single stop sign himself, he would have to literally, I mean, a motorcycle, they don't pedal, so obviously they sit lower than I do. I mean, I'm sitting up rather high because, as you know, I like full extension on my pedaling. He says, I would have to put my feet down, settle this bike, this motorcycle, and then start up again. He says, that's where the unsafeness happens. And I told him, I says, I 100% agree. I says, now on a bicycle, for me to do it, and mind you, I had the 120-pound bike. He liked my bike, by the way. I says, for me, I would actually have to hop off this bike, settle myself, make sure the bike doesn't tip over because it's 120 pounds, look around, wait the 3 seconds, and then ride. Go down a couple of blocks, do it all over again. Keep doing that every time I run into a stop sign. He goes, yeah, that would actually be probably more unsafe than if you were to pass through that stop sign doing it the way you were doing it, a rolling stop. Now, I mentioned to him, out in Idaho, they have this Idaho law that allows bicyclists to do exactly what I was saying. Ride up, take a look around, slow down, nobody's there, just keep going. I says, we need to adopt that here in Illinois. He just kind of laughed. I says, I don't know if that'll ever happen in our laws here in Illinois, but I says, it would be great if it was, because I think it would be safer. He tended to agree. So there you have it, from law enforcement themselves, okay? Not every law enforcement officer, but for one individual. So anyways, I told him I appreciated the things that they do. I always wave to every single police officer, as I told you. And I said, they always wave back. I says, I know they don't know I had worked in law enforcement. It's okay. Yeah, this is called texting and walking with a stroller. So I said, I know they don't know that I used to work in law enforcement. They don't know me from Adam, but I always waved to them. I said, they always wave back. And I said, my logic was, if the officers eventually start to recognize me, and I'm kind of hard to miss. I mean, well, today I'm wearing my black long sleeve shirt and also my safety vest. I have the safety vest pretty much on all the time, unless, you know, if I'm wearing like a really thick jacket because of the winter, I don't sometimes put on the safety vest. It's kind of hard to put it on over it. But otherwise, I have it all on. I'm pretty recognizable. I'm a big guy on a bike. You can't really miss me, right? So I says, I figured they will eventually recognize me, and if I ever had a problem, they'd probably stop and help me. He goes, absolutely, we would. So yeah, get to know the police officers in your area. I mean, sometimes you could have a problem. I mean, you have a flat or something, you know, they'll help you out. They're not going to pass you up if they see you. If they know who you are, they see you all the time. They're not going to. All right, everyone's stopping here, so let's go. Right. So yeah, and he thanked me for supporting local law enforcement, and of course for the work that I had done in law enforcement in the past. So yeah, if you get to know your local police officers, it's really a good thing. I think too many times we look down on our police officers. And yeah, sure, there are some that are not the greatest people in the world. Some abuse their power. I've seen it firsthand. I've been yelled at from police officers who don't know who I am and the like. Yeah, a lot of times those things that happen was undeserved. You could see it was abuse of power. But in general, I see it as something that you have to do to support law and order in the area. Okay, driver's letting me go. So yeah, do that. It's time we get back and, you know, get law and order back in order. So yeah, I don't want to get all political about everything, but it's just the way I am because you know, I used to work in law enforcement, so I support our local law enforcement. All right. It's a little story I just wanted to tell you while checking out this bike. Yeah, I'll reserve my opinion on the bike. I won't tell you anything about it. We'll leave it for the actual review. I will say this though. I'm not in favor of this twist throttle. I'm not used to having to hold it down and twisting it at the same time. It's kind of more of a hassle for me. Oh, here's a guy playing guitar. He's practicing outside. He's busking. Did you guys hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. He's got a PA system up and he's playing his guitar and singing. Cool. I've never done it like that before, but I have played outside. But they were like in fairs and things like that. We'll let this guy go through. They did slow down, hoping that we would go through, but I was too far back and she was already there. So, no, if you don't know, I play on our church worship team and play guitar, I play bass. I play keyboards, I play drums, but I only play guitar and bass at church. And recently I talked to a person, they had an open mic thing at their bar and whatever, and he asked me, what type of things I played, and I told him that I played at church, and I said, yeah, we have upwards to close to 800 people sometimes between two services. I think he was really surprised how big the church was. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I do when I'm not riding around. So what's on my agenda today? Besides testing this bike, which I'm doing right now, I just wanted to see how it performs and get some basic impressions of it. And I am going to take out one of the other review bikes that I've had for a while, actually do the review on that bike. I finished a review on one of the other bikes. As you know, I had several bikes that come in. One of them's done. I hope to release it soon. It actually might be released by the time you see even this video. It might have already been put out there. I don't know the order sequence of when it will be. I'm still waiting for some support things to come in to put in the documentation in the video. So if that comes in on time, then that review will probably be released on Saturday. If it doesn't come in on time, it'll probably be released on Tuesday, which of course would push this thing further back, or this one might go in its place. I'm not really sure which order sequence it's going to be. So so that one is done. So I'm going to work on the other one, the 120-pound bike. Okay, it's not just the bike that's 120 pounds, okay? It's everything on it, plus the bike. That's what's bringing it to 120 pounds. So, yeah, I don't want to give you the wrong impression that that bike itself is 120 pounds. It's normally not. I turned it into a heavy monster. All right, when we go down this area, there's a lot of gnats and stuff around here. I've gotta stay quiet because I don't want to be eating gnats. So sit tight and just watch. I'm not gonna say anything for a while. All right, yeah, that area for some reason there's I think there's like some standing water and stuff that goes underneath that area, and I think that just gathers a lot of that just gathers a lot of gnats and mosquitoes and everything. So yeah, when I go through that area, I really don't want to talk because I don't want to be eating bugs. I've eaten bugs before, not purposely, of course. It's okay. And you know, as you're talking and things, and bugs will fly in, and you tend to eat them. I ate one while riding a bike. I've eaten 2 or 3 while out on one of my field trips when I was teaching photography. I used to teach digital photography at my school. I opened a photography school a couple years ago. Taught for like 8 years. So we do these field trips out by the Adler Planetarium. Those who are in the Chicago area will know what that is. And that's right by the water. So we take the iconic shot of Chicago at night. So it's the essentially the skyline of Chicago. But there's always bugs. There's always bugs that are out there that flying around there. These are relatively large bugs too. Yeah, I ate like 3 of those things. You're talking to students and your mouth is open and they just fly right in. So yeah, I'm not thrilled with that. So yeah, I just wanted to take you guys along. I mean, the main story's already been told, but I'm still riding, so I'm keeping you along. Now, I know some people don't like these long videos. Some people do. I've had people who said, do the longer videos. And others say, your videos are too long. You know, you can't make everyone happy. The way I look at it is this. If it's too long for you, turn it off and watch it another day. Because YouTube will pick up right where you left off. It knows exactly where you stopped. It'll start it right back up again. Or turn it off and move on to another video. You're done with the Russ is Right video for that day. Whatever, right? I will say this, though, for those who are new and are thinking of doing that, you do miss some good information, because I usually talk throughout the entire ride, and whatever pops into my brain, I start talking about it, and you know, sometimes we discuss some really nice stuff, and it might happen in the middle or towards the end of the video. You just don't know. So if you've turned off before that time, then yeah, you would have missed out. All right, Time to shift to a lower gear. Going up a hill. Yeah, you see a lot of times I don't use my gears that often, as you know. That's because I'm throttling enough sometimes that I don't have to. And oops, wrong direction. Alright, this big one is for lower gears. The top one is for upper gears, higher gears. Yeah, so sometimes I don't use it. I might leave it at, if it's got 7 gears, I might leave it on 6 or 7. And then I'll throttle or I'll pedal, or, you know, I usually use the gear. If I have to use the gears, it's usually if I'm going kind of slow, or if I'm going up a hill, I'm gonna need the gears because sometimes you just can't rely 100% on throttling while you're going up a hill. Sometimes you have to throttle, you have to pedal, right? That's when you'll see me using the gears. Otherwise, a lot of times you don't. What gear am I in? Okay. All right, this is 8. So this would be 7. Oh, sorry. This was 7. This would be 6. So I'm just kind of feeling it. Between 5 and 6 seems to be good on this bike for me. So, you know, these up and down gear shifters, sometimes they're different on some bikes. Sometimes this one, the small little button here on the top is the higher gear. The bigger lever on the bottom is the lower gear. Sometimes it's reversed the other way on some of these other shifters. So depending on what I'm riding, if I don't remember, I could be shifting in the wrong direction, have to adjust myself. So, all right. So, all right, let's get out of here. So that's really all I have for you guys today. Took you out on a preliminary ride. I usually don't do it with you guys with me. But on this bike, I figured, you don't know what bike I'm riding. You can't tell. There's no branding on it. Oh, there's branding on the bike. It's just not where you can see it. So I figured, yeah, I'll take you out. I'm going to ride anyway. I might as well get a video out of it, right? Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We've passed the 14,000 mark, as I mentioned. And we're going for the 15,000 mark now. So we'll get there. I know we will. I'll talk to you guys next time.